Let's talk about what is the zeitgeist. So zeitgeist is a German word, Zeit meaning time, Geist meaning spirit. It's the time spirit. It's the spirit of the time. I love it. It's a gut feel, yeah? It's a gut feel and it's data. Social media can tell us what the zeitgeist is. The media can tell us what the zeitgeist is, but the zeitgeist is also up to you. It's your gut feel. It's your intuition. And to be a great business leader, to be anyone who's creating things, you need to have a good gut feel of where are we now and where are we heading to next? Where is the zeitgeist? So that's part of my job as a business strategist, is to be able to speak in a very clear way, very clear POV to where is the zeitgeist at? Will this business work, or will this version of the strategy work, or will it not? And you never know for sure, but strategy is drawing a line in the sand and seeing what remains once the waves wash up a few times. You start to see what sticks, what is true. So the Zeitgeist Report, 3 examples of coolnomics in the world. And when I say coolnomics, it doesn't mean that it's positive. It just means that it's resonating, relevant, potent, and engaging with the world in some way. So we would have all seen across our algorithms in the last week, let's just play them again. We've had Jake Paul, who's actually an investor of Sora, which is an OpenAI video, the new OpenAI video platform. Jake Paul is an investor in that, and his likeness has been used across a bunch of videos with him doing unusual things, workout videos, Halloween costumes, but then also him in prayer settings and other cultures. We had Tupac, we had Queen Elizabeth. We can easily sit here and talk about whether we think that's appropriate, because also, as we know, OpenAI had to make the call that Martin Luther King Jr. would not be allowed to be used and his likeness be used in AI videos, which makes sense, feels very logical and appropriate. But what does it mean when we start to see these iconic figures showing up in this sort of uncanny valley, odd, non-contextual setting? But what I would say is that that was an incredible way, just in the same way that when ChatGPT launched their image generator, again, the ethics is a different conversation to this, but it was incredibly culturally relevant to allow Muppets, Studio Ghibli aesthetics to be utilized for people to generate their own images from it. That is cultural relevance right in front of you. Those characters, those aesthetics have a whole feeling and have a whole history and have a whole relevance to people, and that caused mass adoption and therefore mass commercial outcomes. Same as Sora, all those ridiculous videos that showed up on our algorithm of Jake Paul, etc., doing things, engaged traction and were sticky in the market because they were provocative. Okay, our friend Zohran Mamdani in New York City is a really interesting character and very of the moment. He's a self-identified democratic socialist and is, the front runner to be the new mayor of New York City. I find him to be a really interesting character. He speaks to values and integrity. He carries himself well. He is a man of color, of a different nationality to the average American candidate in these sort of settings, and he's been running a campaign that is both utilitarian and speaking to cost of living, transportation, infrastructure, rental caps, real things that were perhaps some of the missing parts from the Democratic campaign on that federal level. So speaking to the utility and the actual primal needs of New York City and its constituents, but also cultural relevance. He's cool, he's likable, he's fun, he's immovable. He's kind of got that punk that you want to see in a 2025 young politician. So I really feel like he's an example of coolnomics. Okay, and then finally, hedonism, debauchery, fun, drinking, other things that human beings like to do. They've done them since the dawn of time. We've all had fun doing different things, but once that becomes harmful, we're in the wrong territory. And we've seen a reckoning happen with Sydney's hospitality in the last few years, from the Swill House Group right through to Maryvale, undergoing pretty intense cancellation and public outcry, pushback because of some of the behaviours that were allowed within their senior leadership teams and some of the harm that was done to some of their staff and patrons. And we've got groups, courageous groups like Rachel Hare and team from the Sorry Not Sorry collective, who are working to contribute cultural change to having a hospitality industry that is hedonistic, fun, debaucherous, edgy, but not harmful. And I think we all know there's a clear line between fun debauchery and harmful debauchery. And so we're moving through that reckoning. And we actually wrote about this in our resonance report earlier this year about how people are spending their money differently. And your hedonisms, your Merivales and your Swill houses are still going and quite commercially viable. But it's raising questions in terms of where do we want, what do we want our hospitality to feel like? Because we're the citizens, we're the society, we're a part of it. We have power with our wallets, our votes, and our social media contributions, to name a few.